afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to NerdTube. And it's time to talk about The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 4, Chapter 20, The Foundling. I'm here with my other Nerdalorian, Cheeto. How you doing?
Hanging in there, hanging in there. This is the way.
Wonderful. So, yes, it is. This is definitely the way. So, after being given a big fat dollop of almost 1 hour of episode last week, we get a half an hour episode this week. And this is the problem with streaming services, in my opinion, compared to scheduled shows, is like the inconsistency of times for each episode. You know what you're gonna get when you watch a show which is scheduled on television, for argument's sake. You know it's gonna be about an hour long most of the time, if it's a 1 hour show. But with streaming services, it's a fucking lottery. And so you assume that one episode is going to be 1 hour and another episode is going to be half an hour. But don't get me wrong, an hour episode doesn't necessarily need to be better than a half an hour episode. I actually thought this episode was pretty good. But regardless, it would be nice for some timing consistency, with each episode. Something where everything seems to be more along the lines of the same time. And it's not just this show that does it. Last of Us did it as well. My God, we were getting episodes which were like 1 hour 25 minutes, and then we were getting episodes that were like 45 minutes. It was crazy. So, anyway, before we start talking about this episode and breaking it down, Cheeto, what did you think? Episode 4.
I thought it was all right. I mean, it was definitely a filler episode. I felt like last week's episode gave us more. I mean, getting into the Mandalorian lore is fun. I don't mind that. I'm not docking at any points in that regard. But I mean, like, yeah, you're right. Like this episode, yeah. Zam can handle the Bad Batch, right?
Yeah, I'm a bit attack. I missed that last week's episode. I'm sorry about that, but I'll try. You know what I might do now? Honestly, I think I'll just leave it here and just do an end of season review because it's just one show too many for me.
Well, now you're denying Daniel Vance his Zam. But anyway,
I'm sorry about that.
I enjoyed last week's episode better. This week's episode was, it was fun. It was, pew pews and whatever. But I mean, it was all right. It felt like a filler episode more. It felt like more of a filler episode than last week's episode, in my opinion. But yep.
Well, I personally love this episode. It kind of reminded me of a little bit of the Jawa episode we got in season 1, episode 2, where his ship got stripped.
Yeah.
And he was shooting them and all that. It's a similar terrain, but the point is that
utterly forgettable. Yes.
It's just fun, like seeing Mandalorians being Mandalorians and doing Mandalorian stuff, and seeing them get all using all their little gadgets here and there, and it doesn't necessarily. Some episodes don't necessarily need to progress the story. Some episodes just need to show us who these people are, just generally. And I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. I mean, I had no idea how short it was. I was very lucky. I never got to see the timing of it. It totally. I must have kept my eye off it. I had no idea it was so short until I saw reviews and everyone was talking about how short the episode was. But I thought what they fitted in half an hour was quite a lot, and I can't wait to talk about it. Anything more to say, Cheetah?
Nope. Let's get into it.
Okay, let me just pull up my notes here. So it's crazy that they're on this planet because so much shit has happened to the Mandalorians on this planet. But anyway,
really quick before we get going, I did want to actually, I did actually want to. You bring up a good comment here, but how did there get to be so many Mandalore? Like, weren't there only 2 left in Book of Boba Fett, and now all of a sudden there's like 3 dozen, like there's like 40 of them. Like,
it was really just Armor Smith and Favalorian. Because Mando was outcasted.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And then everybody else apparently was dead. I thought.
Well, but after what happened in season 1, where they all went their own way, after saving Mando and Grogu from the Empire, and all those fucking bounty hunters who are coming after them too. I think they weren't like dead or anything like that. They just happened to be all over the place. And then
No,
I
I
think
think no. There was like that pile of helmets in the sewerway, and the armor smith was all by herself. I mean, maybe some survived and got away, but I'm just saying, like, there were a lot of helmets in that pile.
wasn't it, but they were on that space. They were on that space station. That ring that was in the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, that was Book of Boba Fett, but it wasn't.
And
It
there was
was
a
only
pile
like
of helmets there.
no, the pile of helmets was in season 1, like episode, like later in the season when they went back. And remember, they were looking for Moff Gideon.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of off-screen shenanigans. Daniel Vaughn says, I think of them like the Freeman from Dune, just teachers in places. Yeah. I know what you mean. Dune was the influence, one of the many influences for Star Wars. So the Mandalorians are training, and I felt a lot of similarities to the Jedi. You know, you got your apprentices and all of that sort of stuff. You know, there's a lot of similarities. But anyway, we see then he decides to get Grogu, who's playing with crab rocks. And initially, you think he's using the Force to move them, but no, they're crabs.
I actually didn't think that. I actually was like, I thought that there was going to be like a monster, like a little monster thing, not just like crabs, but like a little monster thing. Because like when it started, he wasn't even looking at it, and it started moving towards him. I'm like, oh crap, he's going to reach for that, and then something's going to like come out and bite him on the hand. Like that's exactly what I thought when I saw it.
Hello, Mr. System. Welcome to the stream, mate. I hope you saw this episode and you've got some stuff to ask us about it. So, he basically Din gets Grogu, and he puts him up against another foundling, and they have a dart contest. And with a little encouragement from Mama Bo and Daddy Din, Grogu wins the third round. Oh, you missed it. It's arguably the greatest episode you ever see in your entire life. So help you, General Zod. But I did like the fact that Bo-Katan was really being that maternal character towards Grogu. You can see the parental aspects of both characters now. Din's the dad, Bo's the mom. Were you noticing that?
Oh yeah,
she definitely got a soft spot for him.
Oh yeah, especially when she's like, my dad used to be like this with me too. Like I'm like, oh god, here we go. Bo-Katan is gonna become mom, and Din Djarin is gonna be dad, and then the Smith is gonna get eventually gonna get exercise, and then Mando's gonna come back, and he's gonna be dressed as Mrs. Doubtfire, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Well, after the contest is over, just then a giant dino bird flies down and kidnaps the boy Grogu was sparring with, and then
he's a little shit. He deserved it anyway.
He's actually Jimmy Kimmel's nephew, by the way.
Yeah, I heard that.
And then the Mandalorians make chase with their rocket packs, but they run out of fuel. But Bo, being the smart lady that she is, makes haste in her own ship and uses the ship to locate the bird's nest. The Mandos then make a plan to get back the kid and fly after that location. And meanwhile, the armor smith babysits Grogu and makes Grogu an item, which is what we have as our logo of this particular podcast today. As she does, Grogu has flashbacks to Order 66. And it's funny because we seem to be going back to Order 66 quite a lot in this show. Have you know? Not just this show. I think we had it in Kenobi. We had Order 66 flashbacks in Kenobi. I'm not sure if we had it in Andor. I can't really recall. But
I don't think so. Not really. I don't think any Order 66 specifically. But I think no. I don't think it was really.
It just seems to be some it almost seems to be like the nexus point for Star Wars.
I mean, it's here's my thing is that everyone says, oh, this is 5 BBY, you know, 5 like before Battle of Yavin.
Yeah.
You know, like I really don't feel like I feel like the Battle of Yavin shouldn't be it. I feel like I feel like Order 66 should be the,
The center point.
the
Yeah.
center point, because that's
The
a
starting
much
point of the
bigger
timeline.
turning.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a much bigger turning point in the galaxy, because all the Jedi are exercised, and the Empire basically takes over. And I mean, basically, Order 66 is the biggest moment in the Star Wars universe, say, except maybe the Empire falling.
And as well as the destruction of the first Death Star.
I
It
mean,
plays a
yeah,
part because that was a super weapon and it was able to be destroyed. So
Rebels got lucky.
So anyway, Grogu, as the armor smith makes some armor for him, the banging of the metal and all of that creates some flashbacks for Grogu, and we see a lot of Jedi die. I can't wait for Power Rangers once and always.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw
Yeah,
that trailer earlier today.
I'm a bit behind on my Power Rangers.
It looks bad, but it looks good for Power Rangers.
Well, does it look bad enough or good enough for you to waste money on the theater ticket?
Is it in the theaters?
If it was, for
No, it's
argument's
coming to
sake.
Netflix. No, it's coming to Netflix.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I was about to
So
say,
we see
wait.
a lot. Anyway, we see a lot of Jedi die, defending Grogu, but one called Carolyn Beck manages to get Grogu to safety, flying him off a Coruscant ship off Coruscant in a Nubian ship. But prior to all that, once he sees Grogu, he goes, "Misa Jedi Knight," and then he goes,
Yeah, I knew that joke was coming.
Because if not many people know, Carolyn Beck was played by Ahmed Best, who voiced and did the motion capture for Jar Jar Binks in the prequel movies.
And he was in something else. They said he was in something.
It was in the Clone Wars. It was in the Clone Wars as well.
Was it? Okay, yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was. So yeah, I mean, it's a returning character, but yeah, it's definitely a big Easter egg cameo.
Well, he's not just that as well. His character was also in this sort of Star Wars game show for kids a few years back, and he played that character Carolyn Beck, and so they've now made him part of the main universe as a Jedi Knight. I'm not sure. I think he might have been a Jedi by the looks of things, the way he handled those dual lightsabers and took care of those clone troopers. I think he was definitely a Jedi Master. And by the way, people also forget that we had another cameo as well. Tamura Morrison came back voicing those clone troopers.
Was it actually him voicing it, or was it like was it like recycled audio footage? I wasn't sure.
From what I've heard from more prominent YouTubers, is that they got him back, but
I mean, good for him. Get a paycheck. I mean, this is kind of the gig that keeps on giving, because like anytime they go back to the Clone Wars or Order 66, they've got to have him. You know what I mean? Like they've got to have, because he was the voice.
It's like, He's like James L. Jones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna bring Vader on, then you gotta bring in James L. Jones. They're not doing that anymore now. They're able to replicate the voice now without him.
I was about to say, because he retired officially.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So it was nice just seeing him like the streets of Coruscant again. We saw the mountain peak as well. I'm not sure if you noticed that, which was from last week's episode. When
oh yeah. Because there's only three places on Coruscant: that mountain peak, the Jedi Temple, and the Republic, and the Senate. You know, like there's only three places ever on Coruscant. This whole planet,
the whole fucking planet is a goddamn city. Yeah, I know what you mean.
And there's only three places. It's like, oh, for God's sake! Like I rolled my eyes when I saw it, because I'm like, okay, like. It's not terrible, but it's very cringe, where it's like, okay, we were just here last week. Like if we would have waited a couple episodes or even a season and then somehow made it back there, like it'd be one thing. But it's like, come on, like we were just here last week.
Well, the answer to the question that people have been wondering is how did Grogu survive Order 66? This is how he did it, but obviously there's more to it than him just getting off Coruscant. I mean, pretty much what happened between the what happened to him getting off Coruscant right up to the moment Mando saw him. You know, there's a lot of backstory there that needs to be filled. So anyway, so the armor smith finishes making Grogu's armor and says it's Mandalorian tradition for Mandos to give bits of Beskar to the foundlings. So the plate she made for him has the mud horn on it. It's this huge circular signet. You know, it's like, I mean, he's lucky that he's so small because bits of Mandalorian armor is all he needs just to cover his entire little body. But yeah, he's already
got like the
he's
freaking
already
clock on his
he's,
chest.
he's already got his mithril armor. You know what I mean? So now with the mithril, he's got the fucking giant goddamn, frisbee on his chest as well.
Mm-hmm.
I never associated Coruscant with Rome until the Rock. The remnants of the Tarpeian rock Rome was founded upon. Okay, I hope I said that. I hope I said that word correctly. Anyway, the Mando's hunting the family and make camp and have a meal. I have to be honest with you. This is my problem. Like, this kid's just been stolen. He's about to be turned into fucking bird bait, and you guys are taking your sweet ass time to fucking save the
They
child.
really did.
And this is the only thing that bugged me about this fucking episode.
That kid should have been dead.
That kid should have been turned into fucking, regurgitated fucking chow for those birds a while back. But
because by the time they got up to the top, I mean the and I know you're gonna get to this, but the bird, like the pterodactyl, like upchucked him out. It's like he's been sitting there for how long?
Like, he should have been like dissolved in their fucking stomach acids and shit.
Yeah,
like that,
I kind of did have an issue. Like that was kind of, I was like, and I almost had we'll get, when you get to it, we'll talk about it. But I almost had a big issue with this episode, but we'll get to that when you get there.
So the Mandos hunting the foundlings, make camp and have a meal. The Mandalorian tells Bo that she's the leader of the expedition and has the honor of eating by the fire. This is the way, because obviously with all these Mandalorians around and they can't reveal who they are, they have to sit on their own to eat, which is kind of sad, really.
Why don't they just sit back to back and just swear not to look?
I guess, but look, you make sense, but then again, you never know, shit can happen.
Yeah.
So nevertheless, they have to all eat on their own, which is a bit sad, really. But that's what they have to do. This is the way. And we see Bo finally probably taking off her helmet, probably kind of happy about it because she's had that thing on for ages.
I know she was. It's like us wearing masks nowadays. Like, I know you probably don't have to wear it I know you wear it when you drive your cab, but like,
I have a mask on me, and if somebody tells me to wear one, or if I need to go into an establishment where I have to wear one, I'll wear one.
Yeah,
because it's not that big a deal.
Yeah, because it's like I work in the healthcare industry, so it's like we have to wear them still all the time. Like when we are out and about, like we on the floor, we have to wear it. So, I mean, it's but it's like, yeah, like it's when you don't have to wear it for a bit and then you have to go back to wearing it again. You're just like, oh God, it's like I hate this thing so much.
Well, I at first I didn't mind it because there was I was able to hide myself, so to speak. I like that to a degree. But anyways, the next day the Mandos, they use their rappels to climb the mountain. The bird is nesting on the top of the mountain. They don't use their jetpacks because they don't want to make any noise. And then when they arrive at the top, with no bird in sight, the Mandalorian rushes into the nest, hoping to find his son. And we see a helmet there already, by the way. So it looks like like people have been eaten by this bird before.
Well, they mentioned it earlier in the episode too, that they always say, "Oh, it always gets away." Like, okay.
Well, the Mandalorian rushes in because his son is the foundling that's been kidnapped. But the bird then comes back, and the Favalorian hides himself under some branches, and the bird regurgitates the kid who's still alive, but she's going to use that kid to feed the babies. I mean, their timing is just spot on, isn't it? You know, I mean, half a second here or there later, the bird would have been chowed down, so the kid would have been chowed down. Anyway, the Favalorian makes a sacrifice play by flying into the bird's mouth to save his son, but the bird flies off with both of them, with the boy now in the hooks of the bird. And Favalorian is still alive though, like shooting his fucking rocket launchers and his flamethrowers and shit like that. And then the rest of the Mandalorians, make chase with their jetpacks. Bo, she suffers a little incident and has to leave the fight. But Mando did himself. He manages to. I think that first of all, Favalorian manages to get out of the mouth of the bird, and he ends up on a cliff edge. But then the kid is really Mando gets the bird to release the kid from its claws, and the kid's now falling down, and Mando catches the kid.
I thought Bo-Katan caught him.
No, it was Mando who got him.
Oh, was it? Okay.
But Mando then returns the kid to Favalorian. And he goes, "Oh, Dad, it's so good to be back with you, Daddy." And then, Favalorian thanks Mando, and Mando goes, "This is the way."
Yep.
I think this is the way must have been said a million times.
Jesus ate with the sinners and the tax collectors. So I mean, Favalorian now has to eat with the apostates, and their foundlings.
As an ex-Muslim, what I've noticed within Islam is sometimes people will say a particular phrase just to maybe say, let's just not talk about this anymore. Fuck all this. And that phrase is inshallah. It's like, if God is willing, God be willing. And this is the way. It's like the inshallah for the fucking for the fucking Mandalorians, because I'll get to that in a second. Why I mentioned this anyway. The Mandos arrive back to the base to cheers from the rest of the clan, and they have the baby birds in tow as well. But actually, I forgot to mention the mother bird got killed by another croco turtle on the planet. Which was
from
pretty
episode
cool
1
to see that happen. It wasn't the same. It was the same animal. It was another.
I mean, yeah, it's probably a different one, but I'm just saying, like, it's the same type of animal.
Yeah. And so when the Mandalorians return back to their base, and they have all these baby birds in tow as well, so you'll probably see them riding those fuckers as they get a bit older. This season, next season, I guarantee that's going to happen. But the Armor Smith congratulates Bo for saving the foundling, as apparently it's the highest honor for a Mandalorian is to save the kids. And she notices some of Bo's armor is missing, and she decides to replace it. And Bo wants the symbol of the Missitaur, and she tells the Armor Smith she wants a symbol of the Missitaur because when she was in the waters of Mandalore, she saw it. Now the Armor Smith doesn't really know if she's delirious or not. If doesn't really know if she believes her or not, but then says, "This is the way."
Yeah,
inshallah.
like I love, I love her
fuck
tone
off.
here, because she's like this presumptuous bitch thinks she saw a mythosaur. She's like, oh, just because you're like a royal family, you think you get to see. And I mean, really, she did see a mythosaur, but it's just like the tone in the Smithers voice was just like, I'm like, oh god, she really thinks she's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I just say really quick, if they would have left those baby birds just to starve to death, I'd have gave this episode a 0 out of 10. I would have gave it a 0 out of 10.
I mean, I will say, at the moment the mama bird got eaten.
Yeah,
I was thinking, oh shit, those baby birds are going to be left all on their own. But I quickly did. I'll be honest with you, I did quickly forget about them.
Who own 4 birds.
Yes, I know, but this is the wild, and these sort of things do happen.
I know, but still, like, it's. I mean, yeah, but then, I mean, should the Mandalorians after the bird, the mama bird got the little Mandalorian kid, should the Mandalorians just let it go? Well, this is how it happens sometimes in the wild.
Well, in a way, I thought it was a nice touch. I don't know how but Bo's ship is a decent size, but I was surprised how they were able to fit all three of those fucking birds,
Yeah, it's like a
as
freaking
well as
clown
all
car in there.
yeah, as well as all those. Yeah, it was like the fucking TARDIS. You know what I mean? Because I don't know how they were able to fit all those fucking birds, as well as like what, half a dozen or so Mandalorians as well. You know what I mean? All in there, but they managed to do so. So anyway, if they don't manage to fly on those birds, at least they'll turn into some finger licking good eating. When they get a bit more riper, so to speak. Daniel Vance has got some comments here. Maybe birds to help give them some flight training for the Mississauga. Was that how you spell Mississauga? Okay, fair enough. Um, I wonder how much armor they retrieve from the nest. It was clearly another foundling helmet. There, yeah, I noticed that
I was
particular
about to
helmet.
say, yeah, they're probably finding some limbs in there, like on the armor. Like there might even be a head in that helmet. Like I don't know if I want to go through all that, but Beskar armor is very very sacred to the Mandalorian. So I mean, if there was Beskar armor in there, they would have collected it.
Yeah, for sure. I also thought it was a bit silly for the Favalorian to be and to like be going on some sort of mountain expedition with a giant machine gun on his back.
Yeah,
Like mate,
that's his
like you need
class.
to be. Yeah, I guess he's a heavy, literally.
Yeah, he's a heavy. I mean, look
So
for how many times we played what Battlefront 2. Like, I mean, those heavies, man. They're there.
So this was a thoroughly for me. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. It was really good just to immerse ourselves amongst the Mandalorian people, regardless of where the story was going. We did get some story if people wanted it within the flashbacks regarding Grogu himself,
I
and
honestly
we got
don't
more of
care.
Grogu. Yeah,
Like,
well,
I
look,
don't care where
Grogu.
Grogu. I mean, okay, fine. Let's get it out of
Look,
the way.
Grogu's a
Like,
he's a part. It's a package deal with the Mandalorian, mate. So.
but why? Okay, but and I know I think I know the answer to this, but they haven't told us yet. Why is Grogu so special? Is it because he's like one of the rare Yoda species, which they don't even have a name for that species? Like, is that because there's Yaddle too? We've seen Yaddle's canon too. Yaddle was originally in episode 1, and then wasn't she removed from episode
She was
1?
removed because I think Lucas realized that we need to keep Yoda more as a speciality, and having a Yaddle there didn't
And
help.
well,
And
and then they recanonized her by having her in the Tales of the Jedi. So it's like, I like I'm not saying I want a full on explanation on what Yoda's species is, but it's like, why is Baby Yoda so special? If there's more of them out there, like maybe they are, maybe they're very rare, maybe they only reproduce once in their lifetime and they live for 900 years. Maybe that's it. But it's like, why is Baby Yoda so special? Like,
I just looked at the fact that he was a youngling who needed to be evacuated, and he
but here,
was.
okay, but here's another plot point though. When they took when they went to when they came off the elevator and everything, and Jar Jar Binks actor was like, but he only had a bike. He didn't have like a whole thing to take a bunch of younglings. There could have only been one or two younglings fitting on that bike. So how is he going to get them out of there?
I haven't got all the answers. I'm just saying, like
I know.
at the particular time, Grogu was the only youngling there. Um,
But
Yeah,
even
all the
when
other
they got
young,
there, they
all the
asked,
other,
"Are there any
all the
more?"
other younglings were killed by fucking. Well, majority of them were killed by Anakin Skywalker or
Damn
Darth
Anakin.
Vader. He was actually Darth Vader at the time.
Yeah, at that point, he was Darth Vader. Technically, he just didn't have the suit yet.
Yeah, I mean, the suit was he was always Darth Vader with or without the suit, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's what
Um,
I meant. Like after he was knighted,
yeah.
knighted Darth Vader. That's when he was. He just didn't have the suit yet. But yes, he was Darth Vader at that point.
So Grogu has the highest metachlorian level of any subject they have, and the creature they have in the Bad Batch repels the Force. Together, they allow Palpatine to remake another Force-sensitive Sith body.
What?
Okay.
Is this some kind of like bonus lore or
Well,
some?
well, there's still rumors around that Grogu is a clone of Oh, sorry about that. My meds.
Oh.
There is still a rumor around that Grogu is the a clone of Yoda. Excuse me. So there's still that rumor, but we'll find out. I guess at some point. I personally don't think he is. I still, but that's what he's attempting to do in Exegol. Is remake a body. Oh, Exegol was the Sith planet in
Yeah,
Rise of
Exegol was the
Skywalker.
Sith planet. I was about to say, what does SP stand
Okay.
for? SP question mark question. What does that mean? I don't even know what that means. I don't know. That they need to leave that whole Palpatine clone shit alone. They need to just forget. Like I did not hate the Rise of Skywalker, but I thought Palpatine coming back was dumb. I thought that was really stupid. So it's like there were parts of the Rise of Skywalker I liked. That was not one of the parts. They need to let the Palpatine thing go. It's just I don't understand them doubling down on like the worst parts of these movies. Like,
well, as I always said that J.J. Abrams was trying to course correct all the direction that fucking what's his face, Rian Johnson was taking the series, and by doing so, he should have bit the bullet on one particular thing, and that was not redeeming Kylo Ren and making him the villain, the main villain of Episode 3. That would have been ideal.
Have it swap places, have Ben get redeemed and Rey turn Sith.
I don't think they set that up too well throughout the whole course of the show.
They didn't set anything up too well. I mean, let's be real. They should have, like, when they saw the mess that The Last Jedi was, and as I said, I didn't hate The Last Jedi either. I liked it less than Rise of Skywalker, but I didn't hate it. Like, I didn't hate it. It's not even the worst Star Wars, I feel. The worst one is Episode 2 by and far. But here's the thing. It's like, so, oh no, I lost my train of thought. No, but they should. I got it. They should have bit the bullet and they should have added another movie. Like, I know we didn't want that, but like they tried to cram so much in the Rise of Skywalker. They should have just said, okay, look, we're going to course correct in Episode 9, and Episode 10 is going to be our huge climactic ending. Yes, Princess Leia will die in Episode 9. But Episode 10, we are going to build properly in Episode 9 for Episode 10, and basically, like, not retconning The Last Jedi, but kind of fixing some of the mistakes. And then you would have had 2 movies to add in, like, a new villain or a new character and make the last 2 like a 2-part.
I wouldn't have liked more additions. I mean, maybe when it comes to the supporting cast, but not the main. Regarding this, they need to finally bring in the Chiss and the Yuuzhan Vong. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind that either.
Which one's the Yuuzhan Vong? I know what the Chiss is.
I think they're like an android species.
Okay. I know the Chiss is
like a droid species, but I think I might be wrong. I might need Daniel Vance to correct me on that. Like, just for me, like, for instance, like in Empire Strikes Back, we found out that Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's son. So that revelation didn't need to be revealed in episode 6. In Episode 8, we found out that Rey's a nobody. So you have to stick with a nobody in Episode 9. You know what I mean? It makes no sense to then bring in another revelation that you're a fucking Palpatine, because that should have been revealed in the previous episode. So then you could flesh that out further in Episode 9.
I don't disagree with you. I think Rey being a nobody honestly was a bad decision, in my opinion. I felt
it was a bad decision. It was a bad decision, but
they should have revealed that she was a Palpatine back then.
This is Rian Johnson trolling on all the setup. Because the problem with Rian Johnson is that he had some stuff that was set up for him, and he fucking trashed it all.
Yeah,
he trashed it all. He including Finn as well. What he did with Finn was like Finn
abysmal.
should have been a bit. Like Finn should have had a massive part in this. I've always said that the bait and switch they did with the sequel trilogy was a joke, because I love the idea of a stormtrooper redeeming himself and becoming a Jedi Knight. That for me sounds brilliant. But no,
I had
they're
no
worried.
problem with
They're
it.
worried about their racist Chinese audience as well, who doesn't like to have black people on their screens and shit like that. It was just such a stupid idea what they did, and then obviously the way Ryan Johnson ruined the character of Finn and just
Hey, put him
left
in a
him doing left.
cryopod for half the movie, or a
He just
bacta
made
pod, or whatever it's called.
well. They wanted to kill. He wanted to kill him off. He genuinely wanted to kill him off, but that couldn't happen. But and people going on about Kathleen Kennedy having some sort of agenda and stuff like that. Look, I don't give a fuck. All I care about is just some, a cohesive story, and they should have had all three films pretty much. I mean, obviously you could change things here and there as you go along,
They should
but
have
they
had it
should have
plotted
had
out. You're right.
all three films plotted out. It wasn't. I mean, just to wing it the way they did, it's a fucking joke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, an absolute joke. And
as I
obviously,
said,
Carrie Fisher dying as well didn't help. Did not help at all. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
I mean, I know I agree. And I mean, as I said, I didn't hate The Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker as much as a lot of people did, but I'm also easy to please. But I do not discount any of its issues. I'm not sitting here, I will not die on the mound of The Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker. I'm like, okay, I mean, as you know, I'm not the hugest Star Wars fan. I like Star Wars. I like Star Wars for obviously not the Jedi stuff. But it's like, but no, I agree. It's like they should have had everything cohesively mapped out from episode 7 to episode 9. Everything should have been mapped out. And it just, yeah, like, and I don't care if you get Ryan Johnson to direct something, whatever. But it's like, didn't he write and direct The Last Jedi?
He
So
wrote and
it's like,
directed. He wrote and directed, and his idea of filmmaking is that he doesn't want everyone to like his stuff. He only wants half the people to like his stuff.
yeah.
Which is okay if you're doing your own personal projects, not fucking Star Wars.
Well,
You know what I mean?
and the thing is that, yeah, did his movie make a lot of money? Absolutely. And he's going to look and go, look at how successful my Star Wars movie
Fucking
was.
Star Wars. It's fucking Star Wars.
But here's the thing, though. The Rise of Skywalker suffered for it. The Rise of Skywalker did not make as much money as either of those two movies because everyone got burned on The Last Jedi. So when they let Ryan Johnson do what he was going to do, the following project suffered because of his dumbassery.
He's
Go
also
ahead.
the only Star Wars movie to have no lightsaber. Well, I mean, I'm not talking about the anthology films, but regarding the 9 series, there is no actual lightsaber duel. There's no clashing of lightsabers once. You know what I mean?
I mean, there
Because
was the fight you're right. I mean, there was the fight in the room, but
the
that wasn't like
lightsaber that
lightsabers.
wasn't lightsabers,
Luke
and
never
Luke
used a
was
lightsaber.
he was a hologram or whatever the fuck he was. He was
Yeah,
a
Luke didn't
you know what I
actually
mean?
use his lightsaber on Kylo or Rey when they were training. Holy shit, I never knew that.
Yeah.
What a pile
Yeah,
of
and that's
shit. I swear to
Ryan
God.
Johnson for you. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
God,
he like
but that's the thing.
he is he's the reason. Look, I didn't like Force Awakens. A lot of people for some reason really like the Force Awakens. I fucking hate it. You know what I mean? But
I did not like it, but I didn't think
it
it was
was so unoriginal. Like the problem is with the sequels is that they see the prequel trilogy and how much shit they got, and they thought, okay, let's just get back to what we know. You know what I mean? Let's get back to what people like. But then, they take they go from one direction, one extreme, to the total other extreme. Like, you still need to keep things original to a degree. Like when you look at the original trilogy, I know there's 2 Death Stars and all of that, but you look at Luke's character, the character arc he went on, from being farm boy to being Jedi badass. There's a lot of originality in all 3 of those movies, and when you look at the sequel trilogy, it's just a rehash. It really is. It's just a fucking rehash, and it's not. And bringing back Palpatine as well. Like, they were so desperate, and I felt sorry for Ian McDermott because honestly, he lost his touch in that movie. He wasn't that good. He was so good in the prequels, but he was just awful. I thought he was awful. I thought he was almost parodying himself,
Yeah.
to a degree.
That's because he knew that the sequel trilogy was just a parody of any kind of good Star Wars.
Yeah, and because the only good thing we got out of it was Poe Dameron, and because they ruined Finn, he should have been a much more spectacular character than what he was. All of that. It was good to see Chewbacca, like the only legacy character left, um, have a better thing. But even then, like like making him wear a medal and stuff like that at the end. Oh God.
Well,
Yeah, I
did
mean,
they wear it? Did he wear it, or did they just give it to him? Like, because everybody else was dead,
they gave him one, and people always mention the fact that he never wore, he wasn't medaled. Um,
which he should
which
have been.
which he should have been in the original trilogy, but yeah, you don't need to bring up shit like that, but it's just,
It's
it's
fan
anyway.
service.
Oh God, like you
Bad fan
see,
service, but it's fan service.
some people do complain about John Favreau and Dave Filoni, but I'll be honest with you, they've steered the ship in a much better direction. Even the Book of Boba Fett wasn't that great. The ship has been steered in a much better direction. I mean, the Bad Batch as well, regarding the animated show, season 2 is phenomenal. It really is. It's really good. It's good. It's good Star Wars stuff. There have been, and Andor as well, of course. I mean, superb. Kenobi being something that should have been what the crown jewel of the television shows, ended up not being that, which is a shame, really. But yeah, we had some good moments with that show, regardless. So yeah, I'm hoping that we I think we're in desperate need now for a Star Wars movie. Would you say? I think it's been long enough.
I don't know. I really feel like they need to get their stuff together. They need to get Kathleen Kennedy out of the driver's seat, even if it is Filoni and Favreau. And I know Ginger's probably going to scream at a screen when I say that, but it's got to be better than Kathleen Kennedy. Like, it's got to be like anything. Kevin Feige would be better in that seat than Kathleen Kennedy. At least Kevin Feige knows to listen to fans. He may not be. I mean, I know he's a Star Wars fan, but I mean, at least he knows how to run a successful studio. They just need to get Kathleen Kennedy out of there. And I'm not a huge Kathleen Kennedy basher, but I'm like, look, on this program we have definitely talked about Alex Kurtzman and Trek. And here's the thing: is that Alex Kurtzman, as we have said in the past, has somewhat redeemed himself. Star Trek, the new Trek started out rough and kind of worked its way into a stable place. It's doing well. Okay, you've earned your spot. Kathleen Kennedy's the opposite. Like, it keeps on getting worse. Anything she touches. Really, the only thing that's not is the Filoni and Favreau stuff. Take a hint, Disney, and put someone in there besides Kathleen Kennedy. She just can't do it. She's just not the right person for that. You know what? You want to do a Gilmore Girls cinematic universe? Put Kathleen Kennedy in charge of that.
Gilmore Girls. Fair enough. But look, I just had a quick look. I typed in Rise of Skywalker on Google to see when the film was made. It was made in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
That's 4 years ago now. I think we've waited long enough. Enough time has passed. Give us a fucking Star Wars movie. I don't care how it is, what era it is. Just give us a fucking Star Wars movie and get the popcorn out. I am in dire need for a Star Wars movie. I need that itch to be scratched. It's good that we got a lot of Star Wars, and this episode was great when it comes to some of that Star Wars action. I thought it really fulfilled that niche, but I'm dying for a decent Star Wars movie. I'm dying for to follow some new characters.
I'll say, what would you want? Would you want a new trilogy or would you want an anthology show? Because, or not show, movie. Let's spitball really quick then. Let's take a minute and let's.
Well, I've always wanted an Old Republic series to be in the vein of Game of Thrones, where you got multiple characters. You're not just focusing on a handful. There's like so many fucking characters all over the shop. that's what I ideally want, and it would probably have to be close to R-rated as well, because it'll
You'll
be a bit
never get that
sexy,
with.
but
I don't think you'll ever get that with
but
Star Wars.
you'll never get that with Disney.
Yeah,
Just generally, when I say sexy, I mean I wouldn't mind some sort of sexy scenes, but at the same time, it's more to do with the Sith side of things, which is
or like
a lot of decapitations
them
and
walking into a
cruelty.
strip club, like on Coruscant, like
Yeah,
and not being afraid to show things, and like the Jedi are there, and they're not even tempted because they're Jedi. You know what I mean? Like I get what you're saying. Like make it sexy. Like you could have male strippers in there for criminy sake. You
make
could
it
have
make
male.
it a bit more adult, like
Yeah,
I want to focus way more on the Sith. Now we've got the Acolyte show, which is coming next year, I believe. And I'm concerned about that. But I'm concerned about many things. When Disney get their hands on things, stuff which is R-rated gets diluted to fuck. We've already
yeah. No,
seen that.
that's
We've
something
already
that
seen
they
that
would
with
have to
Kingpin.
let Amazon do. I mean,
Yeah, we saw that with Kingpin, and because we saw that with Kingpin, and we saw how they treated Kingpin, I have very little faith in Disney doing the right thing. Now they're going to be putting the Punisher, you know, yeah, like Punisher going, hey y'all, how you doing? You know what I mean? I don't kill anymore. Now I arrest. I protect and serve, and all of that sort of stuff.
I
You know,
mean, yeah. I mean, they Disney has to prove that they can do it right. Because I agree, the Punisher is not a PG-13 guy. You know what I mean? Like Blade, not PG-13. Ghost Rider, not PG, should not be PG-13. Like there's plenty of characters that just should not be PG-13. That's why a Marvel Knights line would be good. And I don't care. Take it to Amazon. Take it to Hulu. Like I know Hulu's not much of a thing over there in the UK, but it's like they have Deadpool. Deadpool's rated
God,
R, and it's on Disney Plus.
look, so many shows like we're going to be getting the Punisher coming back. I think they're going to ruin that. Deadpool coming back. I just don't think. I think when everything sounds all hunky dory and Disney says, yeah, we will be a bit more edgier, but then when it comes to the crunch, they think to themselves, damn, we don't want to be scaring the kids away, yeah, all
No,
this sort of shit.
but
We
that's the
want
thing. It's
to
like
we want to
we're
sell
not even
toys.
talking about like movie tickets. We're talking about a TV show. They're already paying for Disney Plus, so you're getting your money's worth. Like
Mm-hmm.
like you have parental controls. Use it.
I just look.
Like
I mean, they could take a leaf to a degree out of DC's book because DC have pushed that boundary on many occasions, and somehow, a lot of their stuff, in my opinion, is R-rated, but somehow they still managed to be popular with kids at the same time. They got best of both worlds, and to a degree, Marvel have done it in the past with Punisher, with Blade. You could, with the Kingpin, you could do it again. But it's just Disney. It's just this is the thing. This Disney reputation has made them, in my opinion, somebody you can't have faith in doing the right thing when it comes to adult entertainment. I had this argument with a lot of people. I just want to see stuff which is just a bit more edgier. It's all good having all this fucking down the line, good for family entertainment and stuff. I'm all for that. But now and again, I want stuff that kids can't watch. You know what I mean? But
I don't I
I
don't
enjoy stuff
disagree
like
with you
that.
at all. These
Yeah,
are realities of our world, and I mean that need to like Star Wars is a universe. Like you have a gangster show in Book of Boba Fett, and you don't have any gangster or mob stuff going on.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
no, like Book of Boba Fett should have been so much darker instead of like babysitter Boba Fett. Like we're just
Well,
babysitting everybody, or everybody's babysitting him. You had a
I forgot
freaking Wookiee. What was his name?
Black
Chrysanthemum?
Chrysanthemum.
Yeah,
Black
he
Chrysanthemum.
could have ripped people's heads off, arms off. We could have seen a Wookiee go all out on this show, and we didn't get it.
Yeah, we basically got Han and Chewie part, but the dark version, and even then they weren't that dark. Um, yeah, I wanted to see a bit more gangsterism because that was the whole point. He kills off what's his face, both a tuna or something like that. Yeah, I mean, and he kills him off, and the way he killed, just shot him point blank in the chest, no remorse. I thought, okay, this is sick. I like the look of this. You know what I mean? But we never got that replicated. Instead, we got the fucking cyberpunk kids and shit like that. Like that's so awful. You know, and then we got Boba Fett going through a story, a character arc he didn't need by hanging around the fucking the Tuscans. Oh,
Mhm. Yeah,
oh god.
all awful, all bad. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
my thing would
yeah.
be is I honestly would not mind and I know everyone's gonna cringe, but I would not mind a Poe Dameron movie, single movie, based on after the rise of Skywalker. No, no Rey Skywalker. I mean, you can have John Boyega in there, but it's all about like Poe being a pilot. You know, I don't want it to be a prequel per se. They're tracking down like the fragments of the First Order, you know, and stuff like that. But like then you can get like the Chiss involved. Wouldn't that be amazing if all of a sudden we went into this, like all of a sudden the Chiss see like the New Republic's capital's been destroyed and the rise of Skywalker, or the Force Awakens, and now the First Order is decimated. Wouldn't it be amazing if all of a sudden that's the moment the Chiss decide to invade? And like you kind of open this whole thing up of, hey, the Chiss are here, like, and they are very smart tacticians. They are one of the best in the galaxy. I would be totally down for that. Plus, it's post everything, so you kind of don't have to, you don't have to kind of get into any of like the Skywalker stuff. It can be all post Skywalker. You know what I mean? Like maybe have a Lando cameo in there since
I was thinking maybe more of a prequel, like
I hate
in episode. No. Hold on. Let me explain myself. In Rise of Skywalker, when he splits up with Finn, and then later on he catches up with Finn. There's like a whole what happened, during that period. You know, I think that would be.
You mean like in the middle of the
Hit,
movie?
yeah, like that part. That would be his film. Like what happened with him during that
Yeah, I
period.
don't know. I want something post. I want something post all that garbage. No more prequels, no more sequels. Like, I mean, I don't mind.
Well, you gotta have one or the other. You know what I mean?
Well, I meant like in the format that they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, sequel as in like past the Skywalker saga. You know, like nothing within like the sequels and prequel era and even the original trilogy era.
Well,
I'm kind of done with all that.
I wouldn't mind personally if I don't mind Rey coming back and them maybe rebuilding the Jedi Order the way it was in the books in the New Republic era. I mean, this would be the new Republic, so to speak, because
well, the new Jedi Order, the Republic's already there.
Well, the new Republic kind of got decimated a bit by the First Order. We saw that with that planet with Starkiller Base.
Yeah,
they destroyed a lot. Mm-hmm. They destroyed a lot of the planets.
Yeah, but I don't think the Republic ever technically fell, did it? Like I don't. Maybe I don't know.
It's hard to say.
I was gonna say they didn't really. That's what the Last Jedi could have told us is, hey, what happened after Starkiller Base took out the freaking capital of the New Republic? We don't know.
Yeah.
There was a New Republic fleet. That's all we know. Had to have still existed, or they were the Resistance, actually, weren't they? They were the Resistance. So we don't even know if the New Republic survived a lot. I don't even know anymore.
Because they were the Resistance, because there was no new. Because if the New Republic was still around, they wouldn't have been decimated the way they were by the end of Last Jedi. You know what I mean? We had like about 2 or 3 people left. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Anyways. But anyway, I think a post Rise of Skywalker and kind of centering around Poe Dameron, Finn, having the one lady character, the one that
Rey.
got bullied. No, not Rey. The one that got bullied during Rise. Last Jedi. I can't remember her name.
Oh, the Asian lady.
Yeah. Give her a little bit of redemption because Rose, yeah, because Star Wars fans, some Star Wars fans are pieces of shit, and they can't separate reality from.
I don't think she was a great character to bring in, but the way they treated her.
No, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Is like, yeah, I didn't think
absolute fucking disgrace, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No, you're 100% correct.
All of these people, like, I hate fans who do that.
Yeah.
Like they have issues with people like fucking Wyatt Russell. They've had people with like Jake Lloyd, Ahmed Best. Like what the hell's wrong with these people?
Yeah, separate.
Seriously, what
They're an
the
actor. They're playing a fucking part. If you don't like a character, blame the writers. Blame the
what the hell's wrong with
directors.
these? I've never understood this. Like when people get angry at the actors for playing a bit, and sometimes they get angry. Like people got angry at White Russell because they thought he was replacing
Chris
um
Evans. I know. It's
Chris
so
Evans.
stupid.
Like, do you not know your law? Do you know
No, of
who
course they
he's
don't.
supposed to be? I mean,
You know how
you
many
know,
people came when they watched that on Disney Plus? You know how many people came up to me and were like, because they knew I was a nerd and I liked all this stuff, and they're like, "Is he really going to be the new Captain America? I hate him." And I'm like, just watch the show. Watch the show and just you're fine. Like God.
actually, it was John Walker, wasn't it? And I actually loved that because John Walker's in the comics. He's supposed to be the corporate Captain America that the people in charge wanted in the first place. That's his whole role.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this is a good thing. We're getting these sort of characters in our stories. We should appreciate this shit, but no, people are just too narrow-minded to see the bigger picture. And oh God,
I know.
I mean,
I
to be a
remember, man,
fan nowadays.
when we were reviewing Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and we were just like every week we had to tell people, guys, it is just a character. We like it is fine. Like and he was great. I loved Wyatt Russell as John Walker. I thought he was amazing. I was there for the whole thing. I
Oh,
loved the
my,
whole thing.
my thing was trying to make people understand the whole point of this character. Like, he's not supposed to be a replacement. We're watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier. If you got your fucking head on your shoulders, you know who the replacement is,
Yeah,
and it's not
right.
fucking John Walker.
I mean, if you've
I mean,
seen a
it's Sam
trailer
Wilson.
for the show, you know who the replacement is.
I mean, you say it's Sam fucking Wilson. You should know this, yeah. But but you also have to appreciate the fact that isn't it cool that we're getting a more grayish Captain America, an alternative version, somebody who's not Steve Rogers, but has different values. Isn't this a good thing? I mean, but
He's
no,
like
they just
he's like the Homelanders of Captain America, just
yeah. Well, I think
Disney
that's
down.
I think that's doing a disservice to John Walker, but I don't think he's that. But he's a guy who takes orders. He's a good soldier who follows orders. He's a bad soldier who follows orders, but he's also a bit reckless as well. He's the jock. If a jock ended up being Captain America, that's what he would be. Um, but yeah, but no, anyway, we this is tangent station material right here. We've got today. I think we should wrap this up as we've been going on for almost an hour.
That's
talking
fine.
about
As I
everything
said,
and everything.
yeah, I'm good. I mean, we
So
gotta rate it. We gotta rate this shit.
I do look forward to next week's episode. And like I said, we're already halfway through this show. I have enjoyed this show so far, even though this episode didn't necessarily progress an overall story. We got more background into Grogu's character, and we got to know some of. And we already know who Din Djarin is. We don't need to really know any more about him. I'm sure his character, sure his story will develop further in this particular series. But what I like about television shows is sometimes when you got you got supporting cast and they get fleshed out, and I'm very happy they got fleshed out in this episode. And it was just good fun, rescuing a foundling. It's good to see Mandalorians doing what Mandalorians do. I'm going to mark this episode first. I'm going to give it I look, this gets a 2-point drop for me. It gets a 2-point drop for me simply because that kid should have been fucking chow. That kid should have been fucking eaten. The moment he got kidnapped, before they had a chance to even save the kid, he should have been dead. So it gets an 8 out of 10. It would have got maybe possibly a 10. Honestly, it was that close because I was having fun with this episode. It's a good, fun episode with a lot to it, including the Grogu flashbacks and more with the Armor Smith, more with Bo-Katan being like mummy. I liked all of that shit. More with Mandalorian, all of that. But it gets only an 8 for me because that kid should have been fucking eaten up and turned into food. How about you? What say you?
I'm gonna give it a 7. There was, as I said, there was nothing horrifically wrong with this episode. except for, as you said, the little bit of the continuity where it's like it took them a day to get to the bird's nest, and like the kid was still alive. Like it just didn't make any sense to me. Yeah, and I mean, no, I'm glad to see some of the Mandalorian stuff flushed out. I mean, that's fine. I don't mind that. But it definitely felt more like a filler episode for me. And as I said, I'm a Dragon Ball fan. Filler episodes are a part of it. I'm not saying it's filler as in like it was a waste of time. I'm just saying it was like nothing major happened, which is okay. But I'm still giving it a 7 just because it was a shorter episode. And not that I complained too much, because I think if this episode was longer, they would have either had to have added a whole other side plot into this episode, or like with the clone doctor or whatever, or but I felt like this episode was probably as long as it needed to be, and that's where I disagree with you on about the streaming stuff, like where you say sometimes these streaming the times are always out of whack, and it's like I kind of get it, because sometimes it's good that we have a shorter episode so it doesn't feel dragged out. We don't have to have a 45-minute episode every week when it really only needs 32 minutes or whatever, So anyway, 7 out of 10. As I said, not a bad ranking. I didn't hate this episode. I didn't think it was the best episode. I think you enjoyed it far more than I did. But and that's fine. I'm glad you loved it.
As I was watching it, I was thinking to myself, I wonder how you guys are going to take it, because it's not. I think I did notice the obvious, like it wasn't necessarily progressing the story, and some people have the real asshole over that, and they can't just appreciate watching an episode for what it is and letting it just be an enjoyable, 35 minutes or whatever, however long this episode was, without it necessarily. If you're having fun with it and it's not necessarily going on the overall story, but it's still good fun, good action scenes, good moments, good character development, all of this sort of stuff, then it can still be enjoyable. But some people feel like, oh no, you won't progress in the story, so it's shit. And I don't necessarily think like that. And the filler episodes have been in television shows through through the beginning of time.
I mean, filler episodes in Star Trek are where we get our side characters fleshed out. That's some of the problems with Star Trek Discovery. I don't think Discovery has enough filler episodes, because it doesn't. I mean, they have some here and there, but 9 times out of 10, it's just a filler episode based on a main character anyway. They don't flesh out.
On Burnham. It's a filler episode on Burnham.
Yeah, exactly. I mean? Like it doesn't. It doesn't flesh out any of like not Stamets, Detma, and
Stamets gets probably Stamets gets fleshed out quite a bit compared to some of the other characters.
No, I know it's not Stamets. I was thinking of Detma, and like the two Helms people, and
Owo,
yeah, Owo's the other one, and then
Bryce,
Bryce and Reese, and
those
characters are the ones that we got a little bit at in season 3. There was I think it was episode 3 in season 3 where they went down to Earth, and
that woman who used to be human but then became a droid, and then they had to kill her off. And
then she died in second season. I don't know. I don't remember.
And I think to myself, if you fleshed her out, then her death would have meant something.
Yeah, but it meant shit.
Yeah, so
I don't even remember her name. So.
And they brought the Doctor back from the dead and all of that sort of stuff, which was...
I mean, and he didn't start getting fleshed out until after he came back. You know what I mean? Even in season 3, I think they started fleshing him out.
Because his character who came back from the dead, it was able. But he was, for me, maybe him and possibly Beverly were like the two most kindest Doctors in Star Trek. But you think, I mean, you could say that about Bashir, but I think Bashir was more career focused and gave a damn about his patients. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that. He was more of a like a university doctor. He was more focused on his career. He was doing his thing. Whereas Beverly and
Phlox as well to a degree. I mean,
no, Phlox was just. I love Phlox. But he was just a weirdo. Like Phlox was just a fucking weirdo. I loved him.
Yeah, a bit of a nutty professor, but. Oh God, I forgot the name of the Doctor now in Discovery. I forgot his name.
Culber.
Culber, yeah.
No, I
He,
really like
he,
Colbert,
he
but
seemed to, yeah,
how
he
did we
seemed to
get
have
on
like,
Star Trek? It's probably
yeah,
Mike.
exactly, yeah. Anyway, we're done here, but we're going to be talking about Star Trek Picard tomorrow, so look forward to that, as well as our end of the week discussion on Friday, where we talk about everything and anything. I think the two major things we'll be talking about for sure will be obviously the fiasco within the DCU with Shazam and The Rock and Black Adam and all sorts of shenanigans regarding that, as well as Agent Orange, the Donald himself, who should have been indicted yesterday. He said he was going to get arrested on Tuesday. Said he was going, and people were assuming that he'd be arrested today. Nothing happened. I personally was hoping that it would happen, but I never expected it to happen. So I wasn't going all ape shit about it personally. But we're going to talk about that too. And who knows, between now and then, he still might get arrested, but I doubt it. But we'll talk about that on Friday too, as well as everything else we can think of under the sun between now and Friday as well, I guess. So yeah, end of the week discussion. All right. Anything more to add, Cheetah?
Nope, just massive credit to Ginger Greek for the Flava Flav thumbnail. Well, I did the thumbnail,
Well,
but
fantastic.
Ginger Greek did the Flava Flav Yoda thing. Like he just sent that to me. He said, "Use this for the thumbnail," and I said, "I will work it in no matter what."
Yeah. At first, I thought it was Snoop Doggy Dog, and but for some reason, Grogu looked high as fuck. In that outfit, but then he mentioned Flavor Flav, and then obviously you explained to me about the chest plate and stuff like that. I thought, yeah, hell yeah, you're absolutely
And
right.
I just love the image I
Yeah,
got of Jedi Binks. He's just like sitting there looking. I'm like, what the fuck?
Jedi Binks, I fucking love that too.
All right. Anyway,
Yeah,
sorry,
so,
Tim. Go ahead and take us out.
no problem. All right, Ahmed Best, you have been redeemed, and to everyone else out there in YouTube land, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel you never heard of. Take care.